welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. So grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. Today's subject, we're going to be going over the Kyrian Covenant upgrade, or the Sanctum upgrade, that is specific for the Kyrian only, and that is the Path of Ascension. We did the Ember Court last week, which was the Vemfir Covenant Sanctum only. This week it will be the complete opposite. It will be the bright and luscious fields of Bastion, pretty much. So what is the Path of Exemption? Path of Ascension. It is a boss rush type Colosseum, and it's available to players of, obviously, the Kyrian Covenant. It's a mini game where the player character, you're not the player character, like in a sense, you take over the form of one of your soulbinds. So your soulbinds that you can get as a Kyrian are Pelagos, Clea, or Mechanikos, and you basically you're in their body fighting these fights for them, and it's kind of like vehicle combat almost, and you have to defeat the trials like of your choice. You choose what trials that you want to overcome in these bodies almost. It's kind of weird to put it like that, but yeah. So within the Path of Ascension, you'll be able to unlock boss encounters. Each boss has levels of difficulty that unlock as you succeed, or as you successfully defeat the trials. So the previous sort of level of the boss almost, you're working your way up. So a strategy for sort of all the bosses and soulbinds and achievements is kind of a work in progress apparently, and there's going to be a lot more to the Path of Ascension like very soon. They'll add more to it in the coming patches, I believe, more bosses and stuff. But in addition to the combat minigame, there's a crafting system that allows you to craft equipment to improve your soulbind performances, as well as unlock sort of additional challenges within the Path of Ascension itself. We'll get onto that a bit later, but some of the main rewards that you can get out of just the Path of Ascension as a whole as you level it up. So 2 out of the 4 Kyrian armor and weapon sets come from the Path of Ascension. These are the purple and sort of bronze tints light sets, so you can get them as you level it up. As you unlock more Ascension crafting, you can unlock gliders, which you need to get rare mounts such as Sundancer, and you can get different steward perks such as like a mail pouch. So your steward can now summon you a mailbox, and you can get a mailbox anywhere. You can also get Kyrian specific mounts within the Path of Ascension. This is 2 different Larians, robotic Larians. One is more of Forsworn colour, and the other is more of the bright, like ascended colour. And you can also get a couple of pets from it. You get Steward Featherling and Indigo. This is a little unicorn and a tiny, tiny Kyrian owl, which is very cool, to be honest. Just having like a baby steward is amazing. So how you unlock it and expand it. It's the same as the Vemfir, as it is for Ardenweald and Maldraxxus. You spend anima on it, you spend lost souls, and it takes a certain time to upgrade the Sanctum, like upgrade the tiers almost. So the first step, so tier 1, 1,500 anima, 6 souls, and it takes 1 hour to upgrade. And what this does in tier 1, it unlocks it firstly, and you have the ability to challenge 6 bosses, up to 6 bosses, and you have to speak with the certain NPC to obviously enter these bosses. Now tier 2, 5,000 anima and 12 souls, takes 12 hours to basically unlock. And what this does allows you to challenge 4 more bosses and gain the ability to challenge the Trial of Loyalty, it's called, of some of your existing bosses, pretty much. And this it basically unlocks weekly quests as well, the tier 2. Tier 3, 10,000 anima, 22 souls, and 1 day, 24 hours to unlock. and you gain access to challenge the rest of the trials of loyalty and a few trials of wisdom. Health and damage of soulbinds is increased also by 5%, so you get that little bit of a buff just to sort of compensate for the new bosses that are going to be thrown into you and the challenges that sort of are going to be thrown your way. Tier 4, 12,500 anima, 40 souls, 1 day, 24 hours to unlock. You gain access to challenge the remaining Trials of Wisdom and unlocks a second weekly quest. Very straightforward, that one. And on the 5th tier, your last tier, 15,000 anima, 70 souls, and you gain access to the final and most difficult trial of all the bosses, Trial of Humility. And your health and damage of the soulbinds is increased by 5%. So, with all of that, you've unlocked all of your upgrades. And once, so going back to tier 1, once you've unlocked it, you'll be given a quest line you'll have to complete that will introduce you to some of the basics of the Path of Ascension. Once you've completed the introductory quest, you'll be on your own pretty much and be able to challenge and progress the Path of Ascension in the way that you desire, as long as you have these things called Medallion of Services. So what are Medallion of Services? They are a currency that is required to make an attempt at the bosses in Path of Ascension. And these medallions can be earned by the following within the Shadowlands. You can do Covenant Callings, treasures within the Shadowlands, rares within the Shadowlands, and you donate materials to someone called, I really am going to butcher this, Dactylius? I want to say, I'm going to call him Dact. Dactylius, but Dact for short, because I'm pretty sure I've just absolutely, botched the saying on that. So, with these medallions, it might take you many attempts, or you can have as many attempts as you like within the Path of Ascension, as long as you have the medallions required. You'll be given 5 after you've done the introductory quest line for the Path of Ascension, and then it's a matter of going out and collecting your own and getting this extra currency that you've unlocked pretty much. I believe it is 1 per attempt. So if you have 100, you get 100 attempts. If you need 100 attempts, then so be it, but you're more looking towards 5 to 10 attempts per boss to sort of get the idea of what abilities they have and how you can counteract it with the abilities that you've been given. So, Ascension crafting. This is a massive part of the Path of Ascension. It's probably the most important. So what it is what you use to unlock new bosses within Path of Ascension pretty much, as well as craft equipment for your soulbinds to help them succeed within their trials, within their battles as you're fighting them. So you can equip certain damaging health stuff, health buffs and all that stuff. But it is basically a new profession, almost. It's got a profession window. You need certain things you need obviously materials within the Shadowlands to craft these items. And the reagents that you get are spread throughout the entirety of Shadowlands. So it uses special reagents from all of the different zones. So you've got Elysian Feathers. These are drops from Beasts within Bastion. And the best sort of chances are Cloud Feather Great Wings, apparently, and Juvenile ones. Apparently these are the easiest ones with the most drop rate that people have found out and is suggested on Wowhead. So you've got Nightforged Steel as well. This is a drop from Venthyr mobs, more specifically Venthyr humanoids in Revendreth, and it is suggested that you go to Halls of Atonement, anywhere around there, where to basically farm these items. Not the dungeon itself, the Halls of Atonement, outside Halls of Atonement, where the dungeon is within the open world, because there's loads of humanoid Venthyrs there for to be able to farm pretty much. If you're in need of champions pelts, you need to go to Ardenweald. And these are beasts within Ardenweald, mainly rune stalkers, rune deers, rune stags, anywhere pretty much around Tir Naval. They drop all of these champions pelts. And lastly, you've got soul mirror shards, and these are in Bastion, dropped from the Forsworn Kyrian, and they can be found anywhere: Temple of Humility, Temple of Purity, Eternal Forge, wherever, pretty much. So, the supplies for the path can be purchased from someone called Caretaker Kyrian, I believe, the innkeeper, in the northwest wing of Elysian Hold, and these give you 5 medallion of services. And this box also contains 15 to 22, apparently these are the numbers, of all of these reagents: the feathers, Elysian feathers, the steels, the bones, the pelts. And it's a good way to get extra medallions and save yourself some time for farming the materials. And honestly, that probably is the best way. That's the lazy version. I would definitely take that, to be honest. So you have to craft the laws to unlock more bosses. And what is a law, pretty much? It's, as you progress through the Path of Ascension, Dact, as we obviously know him as, will offer you quests for the new bosses to add to the Path of Ascension. And you'll be required to use Ascension crafting to craft the unique lore, as well as a soul mirror that can be used to capture the memory of these new challenges. So you check the quest requirements to know which lore you'll need and which to craft, pretty much. It's that simple. So you have crafting equipment, charms and boons. Charms and boons. I can't speak. It all went into one sort of slur there for some reason. Not too sure what happened. So Dact will also allow you to craft other items that give your soulbinds a boost in combat. Equipment items are permanently active additions to your arsenal of the soulbinds, while charms and boons are temporary passives that can help you in your next visit. So on the next boss fight within the Path of Ascension. So equipment is an item, I'm doing air quotes, but obviously you can't see them, that you can equip for your soulbinds, and this gives them the additional ability to use in combat. You can only have one of these equipments active at a time, otherwise it will make it kind of easy, not gonna lie. Once you craft an equipped item, that item is available permanently for all of your soulbinds, and you can freely see it and manage your equipment by talking to your equipment manager, who's another fellow called these names are really going to get me. Paolon, and he's also located within Elysian Hold inside the Path of Ascension scenario. So you actually have to go into the scenario, and he'll be one of the NPCs in that starting zone where you get put in. So the charms are a one-time use thing that can help you in your next Path of Ascension. These are small boosts to your soulbind's power, and an example I got here is something called Charm of Persistence. And what it does is you pin this charm to your soulbind, causing them to regenerate 1% of health every 5 seconds during your next Path of Ascension combat. So it's a nice little boost to give you that. If you're losing and the boss has 5% health and you've been in a 5-minute fight, that will add up. The 1% will add up a lot, because you'll get about 20% HP just from the time limit, and that will really give you the boost that you needed. That little just get over the edge, get over the line. Now, boons are items that aren't necessarily improvements to the Path of Ascension, but instead benefit you outside the Path of Ascension. This includes items that upgrade your steward functionality to include banks and mailboxes, and additionally medallion of services and any other kind of useful thing. Anything like that, you'll definitely want to craft some of these, there's just very useful things to have out in the world that aren't specifically going to be located within the scenario itself within Path of Ascension. These are just small quality of life things that you can get with the boons. So the Path of Ascension scenario itself, to access it, you have to talk to Artemide. I want to say that's hard to me, but it just sounds wrong to queue for the Path of Ascension. It costs 1 medallion a service, and if you decide to leave a scenario without making an attempt on the boss, you'll get your medallion back. So if you enter the arena, you're giving up your medallion, but if you never even entered the arena, like after the starting part, you can just back up if you needed to go, I don't know, shopping, or if you wanted some food, if you got yelled at by your parents or whatever, and you just got a dip, then that's fine, you'll get it refunded, don't need to worry about that. So, the preparation for the Path of Ascension scenario. You'll enter the scenario in the preparation area. This is where you can talk to many people for your boons, and not your boons, your, what they're called again, charms and stuff. So, preparation, you choose a soulbind in the preparation, and you can only pick soulbinds that you've bonded with at the Forge of Souls. So once you choose a soulbind, you will gain control of them immediately and have it as it's classed as a vehicle UI with their abilities, which is really strange because they're meant to be just beings, living beings, but that is how they interpret it within the game itself. It is a vehicle combat, pretty much. While in this stage, you can freely switch between soulbinds if you do change your mind before you enter the arena. You also, in this preparation area, choose a boss and the difficulty of the boss. You can select from the encounters that are available to you by interacting with the soul mirror. And during this stage, you can change the boss and difficulty anytime. Just like your soulbinds, you can chop and change. You can do whatever in this preparation stage. You choose your equipment as well. All equipment you have unlocked can be managed by talking to Paelon, and you can switch it up depending on what you want, what you're feeling like. Maybe try out a different couple builds and see how you go, pretty much. And you are more than welcome to test them out, like there's a couple practice dummies, I'm pretty sure. They'll be immediately active once you've selected them within the window, once you've talked to Paelon or whatever. And they'll be immediately thrown onto like your UI, your vehicle UI bar, so you can use them to test them out and stuff. And yes, there are training dummies, like I did mention. I was kind of unsure for a second, but I do vaguely remember there being training dummies. So if you want to get comfortable using your like new UI bar, your new spell, your new equipment that you've picked up, feel free to do so. You can take as long as you want. But it can only be done, obviously, before you fight the boss, because you can't just run out and be like, yeah, no, give me a sec, I want to just hit these training dummies for a sec. Please stop killing me. So, combat. Once you finish your preparations and you've selected your soulbind, your boss, your equipment, you can begin the trial by clicking on the Vesper of Traditions, it's called. And this will send you, as your soulbind that you currently are, into the combat arena. At this point, there's no turning back, really. Combat begins once you attack the boss or get close, just like a normal mob. To win, you must bring boss health to 0, obviously, before your health reaches 0. Use your soulbind abilities to avoid as much damage as possible, because the healing is very limited when you're within these soulbinds. But winning will reward you a chest that contains the rewards that were listed on the boss selection menu, as well as some profession crafting reagents as a bonus. Now, these can be normal crafting reagents, but there can also be exceptions where it might give you some back, I believe, for the Path of Ascension, like them pelts, like the feathers and stuff. And you'll also receive credit for defeating that boss, which may unlock new things for you to purchase, or like a new boss level, that sort of thing. So losing will still reward you a chest with some consolation prizes, but who wants consolation prizes? Let's face it, that's just, it's basically rubbing it in your face that you lost. But otherwise, you'll have an attempt to, you can attempt the encounter again if you want to progress. It just costs another medallion a service, that's kind of it. Once the battle has concluded, you'll be able to leave the Path of Ascension or try again. Choosing to try again will cost 1 medallion and send you back up to the preparation area, where you can change some stuff about again, and you can jump down into the arena whenever you want. It'll go straight back into phase 1, which is that like preparation. Now, progressing through the Path of Ascension, it's done by upgrading it, obviously, and it's also you can also progress it by defeating bosses and completing the quests to capture new memories. So new bosses become available after you defeat a certain number of bosses within the Path of Ascension, and you can keep checking on Dact to see if he has any new quests for you, because this will also progress your Path of Ascension even further. So higher difficulties for unlocked bosses become available after you've defeated enough of the other bosses and have also defeated the boss of of that previous difficulty. So you can't just go from difficulty 1 of boss A to difficulty 5 of boss A. You've got to do difficulty 2, difficulty 3, difficulty 4, stuff like that. Like the layers within Torghast, you've got to complete the layer before you can, go up. So you've got Trial of Courage. This is the base difficulty of the boss. You've got Trial of Loyalty. This is the second difficulty. Usually adds more health and damage to the boss. Trial of Wisdom is the third difficulty. It often adds a new ability to the boss, as well as more health and damage, of course. And Humility, the final difficulty. It requires you to defeat the boss within a time limit. This boss gains more health and damage, and again, sometimes another ability. So you can't sort of cheese it where you're just running around the entire arena and just hitting him for like 5 damage every 10 seconds and you're there for 2 hours. No, you can't cheese it like that. You've got to kill it within the time limit. So, compete with more soulbinds. So, what this means is you may attempt any of the bosses in the Trial of Ascension with any 3 of the Kyrian soulbinds, Pelagos, Kleia, and Mechanikos. You will only initially have access to Pelagos, but as you progress, you can unlock the other soulbinds. So, the different types of the soulbinds in terms of their combat. Pelagos, you unlock him immediately, and he specialises at ranged combat, able to attack from a distance and immobilise opponents. Kleia is unlocked after obtaining an Ancestian Cooling, Kleia, that's what it's called, for defeating... Oh god, I'm not even gonna... Okay, you gotta be ready for this name. Numinuru. Numinuru. I'm guessing it's a Tiernan from Ardenweald. That's the only thing that I can think of, because the massive tree boys have them types of names. And you must also have Kleia unlocked as a soulbind at the Forge of Souls, obviously. Now, Kleia specialises in melee combat. She, as an ascended Kyrian, she is able to leap great distances with her wings and channel the Archon's gift to greatly empower her attacks, is what it says here, pretty much, is what I found out on Wowhead. So, basically, you run in, you bonk him on the head, you leap away if you're a bit low, you empower your bonks, and you absolutely slam his head in with a hammer. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. Mechanikos is the final one. You unlock him after obtaining an Ancestian Cooling. It's a really tough word for me, apparently. And you get it from defeating a Thanos. You must also have him unlocked, obviously, as a soulbind. And you basically use Bron for Mechanikos. Bron is what he uses to fight. And you use his crafting abilities to basically beat the boss that you are going up against. You use Bron as Mechanikos. Because Mechanikos is a steward, he's crafted Bron, this like massive Goliath, to fight for him almost. So you are the Goliath just on his shoulder, pretty much. Now, the Path of Ascension rewards and achievements. It can reward many sort of items, and they are rewarded from defeating new bosses for the first time, and also going back and completing some challenges and achievements similar to sort of dungeon meta achievements. So you go back and it says you have to defeat them as Mechanikos with these abilities, that kind of thing. And the rewards for the first time defeating a boss are very different, pretty much. So some are obviously, for defeating it first time, you can get your soulbind, Mechanicos or whatever. The second time you defeat him, you can get maybe a weapon transmog, you can get a weapon enchant, stuff like that. Third time you might get a mount, fourth time you might get a pet, that kind of thing. It changes up depending on like many different things. There's a massive like graph to show what you get from each difficulty of the bosses, pretty much. But the ones that you kind of want are either the second, so the loyalty level of difficulty from Mad Montimer, which is a mount, and then you want either Indigo from the third difficulty from, oh my god, these names are incredibly weird, Aldurin and Mynir, Mynir, just no, it's not a word, I swear. But you get Indigo, your little pet, if that's what you want. So you've got all these different things at different levels of the Path of Ascension, and there's something that you can always be pushing towards from each boss, pretty much. And like I said, there's many different things in terms of achievements. You can obviously get loads of rewards from it as well. But that is the Path of Ascension in a nutshell, pretty much. You can get many different rewards, way more than I will be able to go over, like in a short span of time. All of them are very good though. There's loads of transmog options if that's what you want to push for. Loads of pets, loads of mounts, loads of like weapon stuff, loads of just absolutely anything that you can think of. It's probably there to be earned through the Path of Ascension, through the deeds that you do. So that's the Path of Ascension. It's one of the better Covenant Sanctum upgrades, I definitely think, throughout Shadowlands. I'd definitely say the Ember Court's still first, but Path of Ascension as a combat UI, as it's got all these little details within it, stuff that you can change to adapt to the current situation, makes it very, very good. So, thank you as always, and thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate the fact that you have like many options available to you, but you keep coming back for some more Pig and Whistle Tales. I really do appreciate it. I'll be really happy, and it would really help the podcast out if you'd be kind enough to rate and comment on whatever platform that you are listening to, as it helps spread the word and it helps new listeners to enjoy the free shows. It would be great if you also hopped over to our Facebook page, which is Pig and Whistle Tales, where you can follow posts covering all sorts of WoW stuff, WoW content that is posted regularly on the channel. All of the links can be found at www.pigandwhistletales.com. So thank you all once again, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.